Hello everyone, it is time to review season 2 of one of my absolute favorite shows out there right now. It is Apple TV Plus's Ted Lasso. So, I do have to start by pointing out, they set a real high bar with season 1 of this show, and I'm not just talking about it being a good season of television. It is of such a high quality that I'm pretty convinced it's one of the best seasons ever made. Certainly a personal favorite of mine. So when season 1 basically puts expectations in the stratosphere, it's pretty likely that it's going to be tough to keep the bar that high, especially right at the start of a new season. The thing is with this, when I tell you that I did spend a little of the first 2 episodes of season 2 wondering, this is good, but is it that good? I'm basically saying that the first 2 episodes of Ted Lasso season 2 didn't hit that high bar, but they do land in a pretty impressive position. But anyway, at this point, I am 6 episodes into the new season, and now I can confirm that they very much do ultimately hit those same highs. There's a build happening here, and it partly comes from the fact that they're introducing new challenges for these characters, and things like that just take time to grow, and I think that they really start paying off a few episodes in, which is all I can ask for. One of the biggest standouts in that respect for me is what they're doing with Brett Goldstein, who plays Roy Kent on the show, and he actually was also one of my favorite storylines in season 1 as well, so it's continuing here. He's basically in the middle of a pretty significant life transition, and I just think that the writers are making the absolute most of that character arc, and they're also using the characters of Keely and Roy's niece in some especially amusing and also very, very touching ways to bolster his growth. And I just find what they're doing in that department so effective. I am also very, very happy with the amount of Tohib Jamel that we're getting this time around. In addition to my excitement about that character's storyline and what he's going through, I just thought Jimoh made a huge impression with screen presence alone as Sam in season 1, and if he's able to accomplish that much with that amount of screen time, it just makes so much sense to me that they'd want to beef up his role going forward, and that is what they're doing. I think he's making the most of it, and I'm loving every ounce of it. As for the core crew of characters here, they're great all around yet again. I love Juno Temple's energy and vibe as Keely. It just makes me want to spend more time with her. And it constantly warms my heart to see how she impacts the lives of everyone around her. I am a little eager, though, to see her tested on a more personal level, though. Not that she hasn't grown enough over this last season and a half, because she most certainly has, and I've been very satisfied with what the show's given us with that character, but I do think when you have someone like Juno Temple in a role like that, the potential to push it even further is always going to be there, and I'm always going to want to see them seize it. So that's where I stand on Keely right now. This next thing probably won't come as a surprise whatsoever, but I also can't get enough of Hannah Waddingham's Rebecca and of course Jason Sudeikis as Ted Lasso. One thing I'm really appreciating about what they're doing with Rebecca this time around is letting us see her put herself first, but in a more positive way, and just give me more screen time of Ted Lasso and letting me watch him overcome any challenge out there. It really doesn't matter how big or small. I genuinely want to watch how he'll approach and process everything. And a very special thing season 2 is doing in that sense is giving Ted, I would call her a bit of a foil in Sarah Niles' character. She plays the new team sports psychologist, Sharon. First of all, I just love her overall vibe. Within mere seconds of meeting the character, I believed in her and everything that she said. And as for her relationship with Ted, even though she comes across as a bit of an adversary for him, I never find myself ever rooting for one over the other. It is always just hoping that they wind up seeing eye to eye eventually. And I think that's actually something that's true of almost the entire show, really. Well, I guess Rupert is, he's a pretty shitty one, but It's rarely about labeling someone right and someone wrong in Ted Lasso. Rather, it's more about coming to understand why someone chooses to do something and then addressing that choice by respecting the motivation behind it. It's an approach that really does give everyone, I would say, give everyone a fair shot, a chance to redeem themselves, or maybe even the opportunity to understand something in a completely new way. And that is a really special quality of this one. Backing up a bit to focus a little more on the Ted-Sharon relationship specifically, though, Ted very much feels like an unshakable optimist oozing with positivity. But even someone like Ted Lasso needs to have cracks in his composure, flaws, and hit bumps in the road. He needs opportunities for him to grow as the show continues, basically, and I do think that the writers do a rock-solid job peppering that in all throughout season 1. But I do think season 2 has the chance to take that to another level thanks to the addition of a character like Sharon, but, also, of course, with Ted's growing relationships with all the other characters as well. All right, I think it's score time on this one. Let's give Ted Lasso Season 2 4.5 Deweys out of 5 on the Dewey Decimal movie scale after 6 episodes. I know this might sound like a lot, but it really does feel true to me. Ted Lasso makes me happier, and I really believe that it's a show that's had a very positive influence on me while watching it and also after. Ted Lasso quotes aren't just something that I repeat for a good laugh. They're concepts that I truly find deeply valuable, and I also just cannot get enough of how this show emphasizes the importance of community. I don't think there's a single thing any Ted Lasso character achieves without some degree of support from another one, and it really does make you want to have that same influence on the people in your life as well. Also, before I leave you on Ted Lasso Season 2, I have 2 very random points that didn't flow well in my other thoughts there, but I don't want to not mention that Episode 4 thus far is my favorite, and also, Ted Lasso Season 2 gets bonus points for incorporating a spoonerism. I'm going to leave you at that. Actually, I'm not leaving you there. I'm giving one Patreon shout-out before we go, because this review is coming your way, courtesy of the one and only Kavi. You guys have heard Kavi's name before. You know how much I love him. So, Kavi, thank you so much for requesting this review. You know how obsessed I am with this show. Also, big thanks for being here in general. Your support is invaluable, and you know I love having you in that Slack community too. Thanks to everybody out there for watching this review. Do not forget to like and share it before you leave, and guess what? I got more coming your way soon.